the opportunity to see that. So good evening, everybody. Glad to be here, and this is our first fireside chat as the new Key 3, so very excited about that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Recharter, and I think I can share my screen, so I'm going to do that if that's okay. Oh, it's disabled, so I don't know that I can, but well, let me do that, Robert.
Try now.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. Let me share the screen. So you should be able to see the unit timeline for Recharter. Did that pop up? Okay. So these are the 3 stages of the unit rechartering process. So stage 1 was Recharter prep, and basically it started August 1st through the 30th, and that was when you should have been reaching out to your charter organization and starting the process. We're currently in stage 2, which is the actual internet recharter. So rechartering should be open for everybody to start that process. And as of today, out of our 193 units in Delmarva, we have 184 that haven't started, so we're behind. We've got 8 units that have initiated the process. We have 1 unit that is posted, and that's the crew at Rodney. So we've got a lot of work to do between now and November 15th. But during that process, you should be updating, adding, removing members. You're going to have members that recently joined your unit. So if they joined your unit as of September 1, they'll show up in your charter as prepaid. So you won't have to necessarily pay for them, but they are prepaid, and that actually is their anniversary date for the next rechartering. So once we get through November 15th, hopefully everybody can get the recharting process done by the 15th, then the council process begins. And we're going to have stations like we've done in the past. So rechartering day, I think each district's going to have a location for you to come and visit the district committees and district commissioners and turn in your charters. Which is going to be December the 2nd. So you'll want to reach out to your district commissioner to find out where those locations are going to be. So the process should be very similar to, like I said, last year. The only difference being that those scouts that have signed up, which we have discussed. So after March 2024 is when the individual signups will commence. So that's when we're going to run into the process of individuals signing up, and that may cause some barriers. So it's going to be very, very critical that units get the email addresses correct for each of their members and each of their adults and youth members. So some of the barriers that we may experience in the rechartering process are getting the criminal background checks and youth protection training completed, making sure that the email addresses are correct, the unit paying the $100 rechartering fee. So we want to make sure that the units complete their rechartering. And then a question that we have into national is what happens if a key leader doesn't complete their registration? Does a unit go into limbo, or are they not considered registered if that unit leader hasn't registered? Like a scoutmaster or a cubmaster or a COR. So we're trying to get clarification on that. So when the rechartering process happens on an individual basis, the units will have the opportunity to help the individuals sign up, so they can sign those individuals up on their behalf, or the individuals can do it on their own. And whatever that date is will become their anniversary date. So there are some resources that are located here, and we'll post these into the chat, but there's resources for chartering. So the internet charter renewal process, it's got user guides that you can download, some facts, etc. And then it has the actual internet charter renewal, which is also here. So we'll post those. And with that said, I think that pretty much covers the rechartering process. If anybody has any questions, you can put it in the chat and we'll pass it along. But I'll pass it back over to Robert.
Greg, we have a question. If a scout does not pay the fees moving forward, what is the grace period before being dropped, and who is notified?
So I don't know what the grace period is. I see that was looks like Kurt had asked that question. We'll get back to you on that. Robert, do you know if there is a grace period? I haven't seen one.
I'm not sure of the grace period. I know we get communications at all different levels, and we're not communicated all at the same time. But I do know that the people that are supposed to get communications is a unit key 3, as well as the family or the individual scout. That's why it's really important that when you're doing the recharter this year, as Greg mentioned, that we have the accurate email addresses, probably of the responsible person that will make sure the individual gets rechartered. I can only imagine if National has the email of, say, your scout, the email may go to the scout, and that scout may not know to recharter or repay their membership registration fee. But we're trying to find out information on that.
And Kelly said National has not released the details on how that'll work. They plan to release more in early 2024. So we're not sure, Kurt, if there's a grace period, but we do know that the key 3s for the units will get notified when a scout is due for registration.
Information will continuously change until they roll out more information, or as they roll more information out, but supposedly 2 to 3 months before people's re-up date, they're supposed to be get notified from National. But we will get more information on that as they get closer to those key dates. So we'll keep an eye on the webinar chat. If people have questions, we'll address those questions as we can. But we'll go ahead and move on, continue on through our agenda. And if, again, like I mentioned, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to put in the chat. But Brian Tome now has the floor.
Thank you, Robert. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Okay. This platform is a little bit unusual to me. I can't see myself, but I normally can when I'm talking about Zoom, so I apologize for that. So I wanted to talk to you all about 2 particular aspects of our plan for the Delmarva Council program over the next few years that we want to draw specific attention to. One is program safety and liability issues within the program. As you know, with the organization just recently coming out of bankruptcy, and a significant increase in insurance costs surrounding claims that predated the bankruptcy, and also just an increased number of claims that have been made nationwide that were not related to the subject matter of the bankruptcy. The registration fees have increased significantly. The best thing that we can do as an organization is double down on our safety focus and make sure that everything that we're doing is safe and follows the best practices for scouting safety while we're implementing the program. So along those lines, we just ask that everybody, one, make sure that you're following all of the guidelines for safe scouting, that you're working closely together with your other leaders to make sure that everybody has the appropriate training and is in the correct positions, in the leadership positions within your units, and really kind of be sticklers for those safety rules, and also the training that's required for those leadership positions. Just that'll reduce the liability that the organization is exposed to, and hopefully will reduce those insurance costs, and then reduce the cost to the individual scout with the associated program fees. The other thing that I wanted to go over with you all is our membership goals. We have some pretty aggressive membership goals for the future, and I know that these have been rolled out before. This is not news to anybody, but we're going to get Delmarva Council back up to the place where that we're serving 10,000 youth by 2026. We're going to double down on those efforts, and in order to do that, we need to have a few things in place. We need to have trained leaders, as I previously mentioned, and twice as many leaders as we currently have. So we want to focus on making sure that our leaders training are up to date, and then also volunteer efforts for those leaders that we're going to need to have in place as we're recruiting additional scouts. Some ideas for onboarding new leaders into units is, start them off with a small commitment, a position that takes less time, get them involved on the committee level or as a merit badge counselor, strategically get them into the program so that they can see the good work that's happening. They can appreciate the what's going on in their local unit, and also how much fun it is to be involved. And then you can cultivate them into positions that maybe fit their skill set and require a little more responsibility or commitment. When it comes to the plan for recruiting additional youth, we're going to be focused on getting back into the schools on a more regular basis, making sure that we have at least one unit for each elementary school, and that we're providing opportunities for the students in those schools to receive a program through more service points, multiple service points. We need to think creatively about that, not just from the standpoint of increasing membership in one unit that might meet on a particular night of the week, but also maybe adding units into your districts and providing more meeting opportunities through different nights of the week for those families. Giving families more options for when they can get their kids involved in the programs, their youth involved in the programs. Our goal is a 5% market share in each school, and that's a hefty lift, but we're going to make it happen. And part of the way that we can get more involved in the schools, get more reach into the schools, is also to partner with organizations like the PTA, become a resource and a partnership, or a partner for our schools and our school districts. We also, the best part of recruiting for our program is peer-to-peer recruitment. We know that works very well, that scouts that are receiving great programs talk to their friends about it and get their friends involved in the program. So we want to be encouraging that, making that a regular part of our meetings, encouraging folks to talk to their friend, encouraging our scouts at meetings to talk to their friends, tell them what they're doing, how much they enjoy the program, invite them out. We also want to increase awareness of our units in the neighborhoods and in the community. We're going to do that through popcorn sales, scouting for food drives, and then I would encourage you all to participate in community events to the extent that that you're able and you get the opportunity. Things like the parades and the fairs and festivals. And you can also reach out to the council. I know that when you're looking for resources to promote your local units or your district at those fairs that the council has, marketing materials and also tents, so that we can get you set up so that when you're out there recruiting, it's an obvious, visible presence. We also want to double down on our efforts for retention. 75% of our existing scouts should be continuing on with the program, and that's really accomplished through planning, through providing them with good quality programs. And we all know that camping is a big driver of that. So for the scout aged youth, it's time for you to be doing your annual planning and getting your camping schedule down and making sure that everybody's got an opportunity to get out in the woods and get the goods. If you have questions, again, put them up there in the chat section, and I'll be happy to address them if I can. I see that we've got a few. Robert, are you following along? Do you have anything that you want to point out?
Nothing yet. Jen had a question that I'll be addressing with regards to registration program fees in just a bit, but nothing specific to the membership growth high bullet points that you're sharing.
Okay. Anything else that you want to add, Robert?
Membership, let me put my video back on. Membership is probably the most important thing we can do to grow our organization. That's what we stand for as a movement. We want to be instilling the values of the Scout Oath and Law in as many people as possible. So membership is really what it's all about, which really ties into the next question. Our Vice President of Marketing, Jen Chalu, asked how much are registration/program fees? And I'm going to touch on that right now because I've got 4 kids and I pay for 4 of them to participate in scouting, and scouting hasn't gotten cheaper. And I, for one, would like to keep scouting prices where they are. And I think everyone here agrees. I'd like to keep it as cost effective as possible to create as little to no barrier for every young person to join scouting on our peninsula. Now, if you do have families that need help to join our scouting program, we have a membership assistance program for all families that qualify. And the qualifications we're trying to follow is those set by the United Way and other agencies. They go by what's called an ALICE household. So for families that qualify as an ALICE household where they're working but just barely able to make ends meet, we do offer scholarship assistance. And for those families that are at the federal poverty line, we also provide assistance as well. And this is not inclusive of our Scout Reach programs where we do some of these programs during school. So all of our scouts could qualify depending on their financial need on scouting. We also do have our popcorn sales, but realistically, Brian touched on the safety of this program and membership growth. If we all want to maintain the price of scouting and keep it low or as low as possible, we all need to be engaged at all levels of the organization. And Brian brought up liability. We are all tied. We're all in this together. The national organization is our umbrella. More than half of all of our registration fees goes towards paying general liability insurance. Now, for all of us on the call, I'm sure every one of us are paying car insurance. If one person in our household who's in our plan gets into a car accident, what happens? Or gets too many speeding tickets? Car insurance goes up, doesn't it? It's no different than our general liability insurance. we are all in this together. An incident that can take place all the way clear across the country, across the Pacific Ocean in Hawaii. If somebody gets hurt and they get into a lawsuit, that lawsuit affects us, not directly, but just like your child, if somebody got into a car accident, it might not have been your car accident, but premiums increase. So we need to do our best to make sure that we keep safe scouting at the top of our mind at all times. The other thing that drives us is National is already looking at and has mentioned a fee increase potentially for next year. It was part of the bankruptcy plan and coming out of bankruptcy. They were looking at an increase of another $5 or more. But if we can keep scouting safe and, as Brian mentioned, grow our program, that will generate the revenue that National needs to continue to operate and provide support services to local councils. And then we can provide services to our scouts and units. And the best way to do that is for us to grow, not just as a council, but nationally. We're all in this together, just like the general liability insurance. All of us participating in scouting, the more kids that we can get involved, all help to fund the organization on a larger level and keeps prices down. It's kind of the McDonald's Happy Meal or cheeseburger effect. We would like to keep the cheeseburgers as affordable as possible, even though McDonald's pricing has gone up significantly. You have other burger places that are perhaps known or believed to be better burgers, say, I don't know, like some of these premium burger houses. McDonald's makes a lot more money because they sell a lot more volume. And likewise, for us, we want to do the volume aspect, and that volume really is getting more kids in this program. And that's how National is funded, through council or national registration fees. And the best thing we can do to keep everybody's fees down is get more kids involved in this program. National's registration fee is $80. And hopefully it only goes up, if it goes up at all, it'll go up by $5 and hopefully no more for next year. The local council charges $48, and there's a one-time $25 registration fee for any new scouts that join our programs. There is no plans at this time for us to increase the local council registration fee. We want to keep it at $48 for as long as we can. But again, to help us maintain that, even for us as a local council, participation in Friends of Scouting, selling popcorn, things of that nature really helps us with our council budget so we can continue to operate. Brian mentioned we have an aggressive goal to get back to 10,000 youth in the next 3 years. We have an aggressive plan. We're kicking off a special fundraising campaign that we're hoping to raise significantly more dollars. And in doing so, we're planning on hiring at least 2 more field executives that could help provide unit service, but also put a heavier emphasis on focusing on membership growth, which we believe is the best thing we can do to keep costs where they are. So the question, Rich from Troop 150, what is the application process? There's a membership application that you can get from any of our staff, and I believe it is also online, that you can apply or have your parents fill out a form and apply for the registration assistance, where it's anywhere from 50 to 75% off at this time if you qualify as an Alice household or poverty line. Okay. But again, the best thing I can emphasize is we are all in this together. It doesn't matter if we're a scout in Delmarva Council or clear across where I came from in Hawaii or the Aloha Council. What we do here impacts them, just like if what they do there will impact us. We are one Boy Scouts of America, one organization, and we need to work together just like we're one council. And we've got to realize that we're all in this together. And as the tide rises, all ships will rise. And that's what we're hoping. Some of the things that Brian shared with membership growth and strategically working with each of our partner troops and packs, making sure that families have opportunities to join. If they have a conflict because their child does gymnastics on Monday night, well, let's have the wherewithal to be able to refer that family to a pack or troop next door that meets on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night. Registration fees for leaders are not changing. It's the same amount. I believe it is $60 for all adult leaders. There's no local council additional fee for leaders. That $60 just goes straight to our national organization. Okay. Any other questions regarding registration fees or how we're all interconnected and tied together and the importance for membership growth? as well as safety for all of our youth. I know it's an exciting time for us. We've got young men, young women participating in this program. And for all of you here, I know that you all know that we take girls in our program right now. But an interesting survey that was done by our national organization, and this is a national survey, so it's interesting enough, you may be surprised that 49% of our existing members, parents, 49% of existing parents of Scouts think that Boy Scouts of America is still just for boys. Our greatest opportunity for growth is our young women. We're not taking the eyes off of serving our young men at all, but we serve 18% of our current total Scouts in the Delmarva Council are young women, 18%. But 54% of the general public is not aware that the Boy Scouts of America sell or provide scouting to young ladies. And I've got 3 daughters myself, and we get that all the time as they're selling popcorn. The folks coming out of the store, or as our children are going door to door, always assume that my girls are Girl Scouts. They're not Girl Scouts, they're members of Scout BSA, Boy Scouts of America, and girls that are participating in our program. But we get questioned all the time about girls participating in the Boy Scouts of America. So we need to do a better job in our visibility in all of our actions to make sure that we promote our program, that we are for families, young men and young women can participate in this program. 54%, as I shared earlier, of the general population believe that scouting is just a boys program only. And we need to do a better job of making sure that the general public is aware that we serve everyone, all young men and young women today. Okay. Any other questions that people may have, or any other burning topics or questions? Please feel free to put them on the chat.
Robert, I just wanted to take the opportunity while we're on the call to say how incredibly proud I am to be a part of this organization. And I just, when we have these calls, sometimes it sounds a little bit like the rallying cry, the cheerleading session sometimes sounds like a little bit of chastisement or correction. And please, I want everybody to know that the folks that are involved in this program, some of the folks that I've had the opportunity to work with in this program, are the finest men and women I've ever had the pleasure to be associated with. And as I go around the council, I am incredibly proud of the work that everyone is doing, and the work that we get to represent when we speak to groups. And I'm incredibly proud of being associated with this organization. So thank you to the folks who are in attendance for giving us your time, your valuable time this evening. And thank you for all of the amazing effort you put into the program. The things that we're offering this evening are only meant to be encouragement and reminders about the best practices in scouting that are going to continue the fine tradition that we've been a part of into the next generation, and are going to give our kids, our grandkids, our great grandkids an opportunity to experience the same kind of blessings through this program that we have in the past. So thank you very much.
Greg, any last comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo some of what Brian stated there. I see a lot of familiar names on the attendees list, and have worked with quite a few of you through scouting. So also very honored to have worked with many of you, and the fact that you're still around after a pandemic and after a bankruptcy, and are here in this wonderful program, and are here to help us grow the program and bring it back out of, let's say, the ashes, like the phoenix. To me, just says a lot for everyone on this call. and can't thank you enough for everything that you do for our youth in the council and everything that you've done for us through these past couple of years. So really excited about the future and the future of the council.
Thanks, Greg. Seth had a question. Is the council providing advertising or marketing materials to raise awareness about Girls in Scouts BSA? We're going to be looking at that. We're in the middle of a strategic plan, short-term strategic plan to boost awareness and have membership growth. So we are looking at all kinds of resources and seeing what we can do best to promote scouting at all levels, and especially girls, because that is one of our bigger opportunities to grow. But one of the best things all of us can do to have fun or to grow is to have fun. If we're having fun, everybody wants to be a part of that party. So have fun. This is one of the best things that we all can do in investing our time and energies into. Scouting truly is a family for me. I participate as a family, but everybody that's online, everybody that we work with, everybody that I get to participate in scouting with, it really is, scouting is a family thing. And I'm not talking just blood, but Greg Birch, Brian Tome, all of you online, and the many others that aren't able to attend this evening. I look at us as one big happy scouting family, and we do things for each other that other organizations doesn't do the same thing. So it's very special for us as an organization, and we need to go out there and have fun and share with everyone that we know about the great opportunities that we have for these young people. So it's exciting time. Look forward to connecting with all of you on the scouting trail as I make my rounds. And if there's no other questions, we'll be cutting out, and we'll be saving this video and posting it online for others to participate in. Okay. And Jen Chalou, our vice president, shared with Seth that there are recruiting resources available on the BSA website in the marketing center, and we'll get the link out to everyone. So we'll do that. Well, thank you, everyone. And till next time, and see you on the scouting trail.